think I'm connected now, guys. Think I'm connected. I'm waiting for you guys to come on into the wine room. Hey, there's my sister. Hey. Hi, everyone. I was having some connection issues a second ago. But anyway, welcome back to Season 5, Episode 6 of Wine Down Wednesday with my Lady of the Week, guys. Hi, everyone. Come on in here. Come on in here. All right, guys, listen. This week's live is titled Manifesting the Life You Want. If you've ever spent any time around me, you know that I am big on that. I am big on speaking what you want into the universe and letting the universe be a boomerang. So if you guys give me a second, my Lady of the Week is going to come into the wine room and tell you all about how to go about manifesting the life you want. But first things first, let me give a couple of shout outs. My first shout out goes to my makeup artist this week. And it's not Alex, because Alex had a job, so he went all Hollywood on me, y'all. But he sent a wonderful replacement, and her name is Gentle Storm Wyatt. So I just want to say thank you, girl, for coming in the clutch and hooking his face up. So thank you so much. And also to my hairstylist, Miss Lanny B the Stylist, or Lonnie B the Stylist as she corrects me. So just wanted to give those shout outs. And let's see who else is coming in. All right, everybody, let me say hi to everybody before I bring my Lady of the Week in. Give me 1 sec and I'm going to bring her into the wine room. I just want to see who's here. Hey, Scorpio Passions _ Hey, Dr. Danielle Lawton. Welcome into the wine room, lady. Hi, everybody. Ooh, look at all of y'all coming on in here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get this started because my Lady of the Week, she is a life coach. She's a public speaker, and she's a soon-to-be talk show host, y'all, on CBS. This girl's got her own talk show coming out. Her name is Shavana Moore, and I'm going to bring her into the wine room. So before we do that, guys, you guys know the drill. Cling, 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 cling. Make sure you take your sip of your wine. My niece is in the wine room this evening, and no, Ani, you cannot have any wine, okay? So drink you some water, all right? All right, guys, hold on for 1 second, and I'm going to bring my Lady of the Week, Miss Shavana Moore, into the wine room, y'all. I'm really excited about this, so give me 1 second, and I will bring her in. But talk amongst yourselves, girls and guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Wait. Hey. Oh, God, look at you guys coming into the wine room. I love it. Hello, Shavana.
Hey, darling. Hello. My God, the energy is electric. I am loving
Yes, girlfriend. Yes. Oh, and you know, I am loving the red lip. Yes.
I got to match my shirt. Hold on. Can you guys see my shirt?
Let me see. Ooh,
Oh,
hey.
y'all can't see it. Oh, my gosh. I thought you were going to be able to see it. No.
I see it.
Okay. Long as you see it, we got to represent.
Yes, girlfriend. Thank you for representing for Hey Lady. All right, girlfriend. Well, welcome to the wine room.
Thank
How
you so
are you?
much. I am amazing. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Okay, so before we get started, I always like to toast it up. So hopefully you got your glass. Oh, there you go with your white wine. Clean. Mm-hmm.
Having a glass of Sauvignon Blanc.
I love it. Yeah, I always say you have to take a sip, because if you don't take a sip, then it didn't happen. So, yes. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and get into this conversation. Can you please tell everyone who you are and where you're from?
Yes. So hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Shavana Speak More, and I am a life coach. I'm a speaker, and I am a new TV host and producer of my or executive producer, let me get it right, of my own TV show, Limitless Living. And I help high-achieving leaders, celebrities, influencers embody and become the best version of themselves and utilize their story to manifest their next level. So that's who I am. I am in North Carolina, by way of North Carolina.
Woo woo. Yes, I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this talk show. First of all, how did you come up with the title, and what does limitless living mean to you?
Okay, so it's a funny story on how I actually came up with the title of this show. Well, let me just say what this is. The talk show is a groundbreaking television series that's coming to CBS. We'll also be streaming on Apple TV, Google TV, Roku,
All that.
and I think Amazon Fire as well by this spring. But it's just basically a show that is going to be able to show people or show our viewers basically how to build a lifestyle that they absolutely love and desire in the face of hurdles, in the face of life happening, because I believe that we all have a story. So everything I
Absolutely.
do, that's the foundation. So I was meeting with my team, I want to say about a year or two ago, and in our meeting, I always ask them like these random questions. I was like, well, what do you guys think about when you think about me? Like, if you had to sum up Shavana, the person that you've worked with, the person you've known for the past decade, in one word, what would that one word be? And they said limitless. They was like, Shavana, you're limitless. Like, regardless of anything that has ever transpired in your life, any obstacles, any challenges, you overcame it with ease. It looks like it was with ease, right? But that made you limitless. And I was like, ooh, that felt good for me. And I was like, ooh, limitless living. Like that's what I like, I guess, strive to do on a daily basis, is live a limitless lifestyle. So, and being limitless to me just really means going after your dreams, right? Not allowing anything, any circumstances, any challenges to hold you hostage, and living a lifestyle that is limitless all day long, every day.
Okay, so let me say this to you, because I know when we were on the phone, you had asked me, why did I want to feature you as my lady of the week? And I told you, I said, you want to know now, or can we save it for the live? Okay, so what you said is that your team, when you ask them the question or give them a one-word answer of what they thought about you, they said limitless. And one thing that I will say about your social media presence that I absolutely love the most is that you are unapologetic about it. You are, I don't even want to say brash, but just confident. You dug your heels in, and you're like, this is what it is, and so often we don't see women doing that. We don't see women being that bold, being that confident, and really walking in your truth. And so as I'm scrolling through social media, as I do, and I'm looking for women to feature, I'm always looking for something that resonates with the brand. And that is what I truly want. I truly want women to not just live, but thrive. And you seem to have tapped into that ability to do just that. But not only that, but then it shows in your social media, your positivity, the words that you speak life into. So that's really what I want to get into this evening, because you are a life coach. And so how do you help women overcome those obstacles? And maybe what are 3 things that we can maybe take forward to help us get beyond some of the challenges that we face in life?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So when I work with people, typically as a life coach, I focus highly on mindset and personal development. So we do the inner work, because I am a strong advocate for being the embodiment of what you desire to manifest. So too often I feel that we have our great jobs, we have our careers, we're making money, but we miss the mark of actually being fulfilled in a lot. That's what I started to find, which is why I probably started to attract influencers and high achieving women and high achieving leaders all around the world. Because now I've drifted off to working with a few men. But what I found was we all were very successful, but then it's almost like we hit this void. Like, I feel like there's more. I feel like I'm not fulfilled. I'm successful. I've made money. I've traveled the world, but there's something missing, right? So we do the inner work to become the embodiment of the person that can manifest the thing that you desire. And if I could give you 3 things that you all could take forward from that conversation, just to sum it up, number 1, I would say awareness. And what I mean by awareness is just being aware of how you're showing up, because I feel like a lot of the times it's almost like we're blinded to who we're being on a consistent basis. And we feel as though we're attracting things in our lives, we're attracting people that we don't want to attract into our lives, but we don't take time to look in the mirror at the reflection of who we are, right? Because you can only attract something into your experience if you are a reflection of that thing. That's the only way you can see something, is it's a mirror to you. So awareness is number one, just being aware of who you're being, how you're showing up, and the embodiment of who you desire to become. The second thing I would say is your environment. Your environment is almost one of the most important principles and keys to your success, because they say that you're like the 5 people that you hang around the most, right?
Around with the
That's what
most.
they say.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
have found that to be very true. So
Absolutely.
if you're hanging with people that are negative Nancy's, or they're always living in fear, or they wake up every day and watch the news or look at all the drama that's happening on social media, and you're wondering why you're attracting, all of this crazy stuff in your
Negativity.
life, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be mindful of who you're surrounding yourself around. So your environment is key. And then the last thing I would say is we have to learn how to set boundaries, right? When I jumped into entrepreneurship, especially because I worked from my home office, I felt as though a lot of people didn't respect the fact that I was a work from home person, or I traveled the world. So they would call me all times of the day. If I'm like, hey, I have a client, or I got to go on TV for something, they're calling my phone as if it doesn't matter, like I don't have a business, right? So we have to learn
Right.
how to really set those boundaries, and whether that's with your spouse, your children, your friends, your family, whoever that may be, you have to make sure you put yourself first and learn how to set those boundaries so that you can protect your energetic space, right? So I would say,
Absolutely.
those would be my top 3 things, if I had to really sum it up on how to move forward in the work that I do.
Okay, so you said awareness, environment, and setting boundaries would be your
Exactly. Yep.
top 3
Got
things.
it.
Okay, so obviously we've heard the term manifestation. It seems like it became kind of like a catchphrase over the last couple of years. You've had the what is this, The Secret, and all these other books. So when we say that, what is manifestation? What does it actually mean?
So for me, and you're absolutely right. Like it almost has become like this woo-woo subject, right? Where
Right.
everybody, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to tap that. But really, manifestation to me is just being able to bring the things that you envision, the desires that you envision in this 5D realm, the quantum field, the supernatural, whatever, however you choose to identify it, and bringing that into your 3D reality, which is those visions that you have, those dreams that you have, those desires that you have in your heart. When you are able to manifest that in the 3D realm, because this is the realm that we live in as human beings, when you're
Right.
pull that out of the supernatural and bring that 3D, to me, that's what manifestation is. Just really being able to tap into that and know that you have the power to manifest that in your human experience. Because we all have the power to do it.
So is it more than positive thinking, or
Absolutely.
is it a step above the positive thinking?
So I think this is where a lot of people get manifestation misconstrued altogether, because they think, oh, if I just wake up and say affirmations, I'm gonna manifest $1 million.
Right. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. That worked like that.
So that is totally not it.
Right.
However, it does play an intricate role in that. Like, it does help you get to that stage of manifestation and being able to attract whatever it is that you desire to attract. However, I feel that the biggest piece of it is the embodiment. When you can become the version of yourself that can manifest that thing, like, let's just say, for example, you are someone, you have a business and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to make 6 figures in my business, but you're showing up every day going to work complaining about your job, or you're fussing people out in traffic, or you're just vibrating at such a low level, you're stressed out all the time, you're worried all the time.
Mm.
You are not even in a direct correlation of the frequency that can manifest that 6-figure business, because what you're saying and what you are wanting and what you're believing are all different things. You're
So
saying
it's like your words and your actions aren't lining up.
exactly,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay. Okay. And so, okay. So are there words or actions or things that we need to be aware of on a daily basis to help us manifest the things that we truly want for our lives?
So I would say there's this I call it my I believe formula. So I've created this formula probably about 8 years ago. And I remember when I started my first company, which was Divas in the Kitchen LLC, back in 2013. And the next year we went on tour. It became a global movement, and we started doing very well. So people kept asking me, how in the world did you do this? Like, you're a mom, you got all this stuff going on. How did you manifest this? And I was like, I don't know. I just did. I didn't know that there was a method to what I was doing. So I really sat with myself one day and was like,
Okay.
how in the world was I able to do this? So what I came to understand was there were three main steps that I would say play a huge role in how I was able to do it. So the first one was see it. I had to be very clear on what it is that I want. And this is where I feel a lot of people aren't clear on. So, because even when I work with my clients, I'm like, well, what is it that you desire? What do you want? They don't have a vision. They don't know their vision. They have no idea where they want to go. So if you don't know where you want to go, then
How you
you're
gonna
never
get
gonna
there?
get there, right? So that's the first step. You have to be clear on exactly where it is that you want to go and be very specific about that. The second thing is you have to be able to speak those things that are not as though they were. So that's when affirmations come to place. That's when, and what I do is when I work with my clients, I actually send them a list of my most 50 powerful affirmations, and I have them recorded, and then I have them listen to it every night and every morning, because it's something about the neurological pathways in our brain that begin to transform when we can hear something versus just saying it or looking at it every single day. So being able to speak those things every single day into your life, even if you don't feel like it, even moments where, because we all have those moments, we want to give up, we're like, I don't feel like doing nothing today. Begin to implement that as a habit and make it a lifestyle for you. And then the last thing is be it, meaning being the embodiment of the version of yourself that can manifest that thing that you want to manifest. So that looks like getting in alignment with the lifestyle that you say you want. Again, going back to, if you say you want to make six figures, don't get up and wear sweatpants every day and just mope around like embody that. How does that 2.0 version of yourself get up? She's not getting up with sweatpants on. And again, I'll have my days when I'm in my PJs, but for the most part, I'm embodying the version of myself that I am becoming before I become that person.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. No, yeah, perfect. Okay, I want to go back to something you said. When you said as it relates to not just seeing it, but hearing it and speaking it. And I want to talk about that voice in our head. And whether, for a lot of us, whether it's actually a friend or an enemy. Right? And so how do we tell the difference of who that voice in our head is, whether it's for us or against us?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I'm going to bring a different perspective on this question, because when people use the term enemy, I look at that as your inner me.
Oh, I love that. Say that again. Say that again. I love that.
When we use that term enemy, it's actually your inner me. There's nothing outside of you that is controlling you, right?
Yes.
Other than you and your thoughts.
Yes.
So that's the first thing I want to say, just to kind of give it a different perspective. But I guess the best way to sum it up to see if this is okay, this is something that I'm supposed to be doing, or if it's not, I would say your friend is your intuition, whereas your foe essentially is your ego.
Ooh.
So when you are going within, because I believe that everything is about going within. When you are truly on the right path and you're in the flow, you're in alignment, it's going to feel different. It's going to feel good. It's not going to feel like you have to be like, you're not being forced to do it, right? If you feel like you're being forced to do something, you got to think about it like 1,000 times before you do it. It may not be in alignment with your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing. But when you go within and listen and you trust yourself, that's the key. You got to trust what you're hearing from your inner being. Always knows the way. Always knows the way. You just have to listen and be open and receptive to what your inner and how your intuition is guiding you and leading. So then the ball is in your court. You're in your court at that point.
Girl, I love that. I love that. You said not the enemy, but the inner
The
me.
inner me. Because too
Because
often
it's
we
not any.
blame outside circumstances.
Yes.
There's nothing outside of us that controls us. Like when you really think
Ooh.
about it, there's nothing, everything is energy. So
Yes.
there's no mystical thing in the sky that's going to say, well, Tanya, you did this and you're going to be punished. Like, no, it's all within
Yes.
everything.
So would you agree that then when you are on the right path, that the negative self-talk kind of evaporates and that helps you kind of go forth and gives you the confidence that you need to go forth then?
Well, it evaporates. I would say no. I don't feel like the negative self-talk ever evaporates. But what I can say is how I believe it to be is we just learn how to respond to it. Because
Mm-hmm.
before we're aware of the things that are happening in our lives, before we become aware, and again, this goes back to awareness, before we become aware of these things, typically we react to situations. But once you're aware of it, once you know that you have the power to create your reality, then you respond to the situation differently instead of reacting. So it never
Okay.
goes away. Just learn how to respond to it.
Okay. And so how do we know that what we've manifesting is actually showing up?
That's simple. When you see it in your reality, when you
Okay.
physically can see the manifestation of what it is that you desire. So let me give you this example. About 5 years, yeah, probably about 2 years before the pandemic happened, I used to journal every day what my perfect day would look like. So I would journal like, oh my gosh, I am so happy and grateful that I get to wake up every day, rub my feet on my white plush carpet and go meet with my corporate clients, go have sushi dates with my girls and blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is that I desired to attract, I would journal it out as if it had already happened. When the pandemic hit and I was actually doing those things, I had to really sit with myself and say, gosh, like this is the manifestation of what I've been saying for the past 2 years. And I didn't even realize because I had felt into it and embodied it so much that when it became my reality, it just felt normal. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
even feel like I had to work hard to do it. It just became.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to kind of circle back to something that you said earlier, because you said a lot of times when you're coaching people and you're asking them, well, what does this life look like? And if you could do X, Y, and Z, what would you do? A lot of times they don't know. They kind of have a grand scheme of what they think they
Mm-hmm.
want to do, but they really don't know. So how do we really tap into the things that we truly desire? Do we need to write it down? What do we need to do to really make that come to fruition?
I believe that tapping into our vision and our purpose is truly a spiritual thing, meaning it's not something that I can give you. Like, we can't have a conversation and I say, well, Tanya, this is what I see for your life. This is your vision. This is something that you really have to sit with yourself. And even if it takes you an hour, just get in a sacred space and then ask yourself the question, who am I here to be? Right? How can I show up as the highest version of myself and serve the world or serve the masses? And this is the time where you have to really trust yourself and tune in and listen. Because what tends to happen is when you're in that sacred space and you're asking yourself these questions, there's so much going on in the world that we are looking at social media. We're looking at the news. We're looking at, oh, well, Tanya, show, I'm going to go do a TV doing this and I'm going instead of just being still. There's so much power in stillness. There's so much
Mm,
power in stillness. So being in a sacred space, and really allowing yourself, and yes, bring a pencil and paper, because when you start to get the ideas, it's almost like you're mind mapping, right? So you can ask
mm.
yourself, who am
I
I?
like
Who
that.
am I here to be? What is my highest level? Who am I called to serve? Whatever the question is, one of the questions I always ask myself is, how can I show up at my highest? How can I show up at the elevated version of who I am? How can I show up as that 2.0 version of Shavana? And I might have my candles, I'm relaxed, I'm in my sacred space, and I just start writing. Whatever my intuition is telling me, I write it. What tends to happen is, because as human beings, the way our minds are set up to keep us safe. So you might get a download that says, oh, well, you should go start a nonprofit. You should go do this. And we instantly, oh man, I don't have the funds to do that. I don't have the resources. I don't know people. So we talk ourselves out of
Out
the
of it.
vision already
Yes.
you 5 years ago. That's why
Yep.
it's coming back. But you
Yep.
talk yourself out of it because our minds are created to keep us safe. Therefore, when we step into the unknown, that's why you have to really tune in to your intuition and go to that supernatural space and that place, because that's where your answer lies. It is always within, but you have to listen and be receptive to what you're hearing and not talk yourself out of it.
And so many people do that, talk
Yes.
themselves out
Yep.
of it. You know, you come up with an idea or a concept, and before you even can launch, you've already come up with the reason why it won't work,
That part.
right? The reason
Yep.
why I can't do it. Or they feel like they have to have the answers to everything
Yep.
that's involved in that business. And just like you said, you talk yourself out of it and then you'll end up doing it. But then you just made a point, is that I think when God plants something in you and you do not bring it to fruition, it never goes away. And it just keeps gnawing and gnawing and gnawing at you, you know? So, yeah. Oh, girl. Okay. So, as I said earlier, Shavana, you appear to be very, very confident. Girl, and I love it. Look, I'm here for it. I love to see a confident woman, you know, unapologetically, like I said. So where does that confidence come from? Because you've had obstacles in your life. You've overcome some things, you know, which we won't necessarily get into. Y'all can tap into her and make sure you watch the talk show, because I'm sure you will address those things.
Mm-hmm.
But where does that confidence come from?
You know, to be honest with you, I would say the biggest aspect of my confidence comes from doing the work, doing the inner work that people are not willing to do. And that consists of going to the dark places that I don't want to go to. That consists of being a mirror to who I really am, right? I remember asking myself the question probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I was once again going through one of those cycles of depression and, you know, the suicidal thoughts and all of that stuff. And I said, well, God, show me who I am. Just show. I want to see clear as day who I am. The things that came up for me, I was in denial. I was like, I'm not that person, you know. But it was only when I was able to go to those dark places and address that and take responsibility for it. Too often we play the victim and we're like, oh, well, my mom hurt me, or this person did this person molested me. And I get it. We've all been there. But until we take responsibility for those things and be aware of what's coming up, because who you are is showing up in every aspect of your life, in your business, in your relationships. So if you don't like what you see, check yourself, right? So that was the first thing, doing that inner work and really diving deep in the places that I didn't want to go to. That's what did it for me. And then the second thing I would say is I would contribute to that in my environment. Like, that's huge for me. So instead of me hanging with the people that wanted to go out to the club 10 years ago and wanted to do this and run the streets and do that, I began to surround myself around millionaires. I began to surround myself around people that were an elevated version of who I am, that made me very uncomfortable because it forced me to level up.
I love that. Okay, so speaking of level up, my next question is, okay, so what are 3 habits that we need to change in order to take our lives to the next level? What would you say?
The first thing I would say is do what makes you feel good. I think we get away from, especially when we get businesses, we want to be so serious all the time. Like, I like to have fun. Like, my team know when we're having events, we're dancing, we're drinking wine, we are being who we are unapologetically, right? In the corporate world, on TV, I am who I am. I am not going to change for nobody. So I always tell people, whatever brings you pleasure, do more of that. Because when you start to look at your life and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out, my business isn't making money, I'm not doing this, I'm not in alignment, because you're not doing what pleasures you, right? Whatever that looks like for you, do more of that, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is doing the inner work daily. This is not one of those things where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna kumbaya and say my affirmations today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna be a millionaire, and that's it, and I'm done, I've arrived. You're never. it's just like personal development and mindset is just like a muscle. You can't go to the gym tomorrow and expect to have a six-pack by next week. That is just not how it works. You have to continue doing that inner work because
Right.
life is going to keep happening, right? We are created to evolve. That's just how the universe is. The universe evolves every 17 seconds. So as human beings, we are created to evolve. We are not created to stay the same. So when you're staying the same and you're stuck,
Mm-hmm.
it's because you aren't evolving. You aren't allowing yourself to evolve and grow. The last thing I would say is take action. Take action every day. And I know you and I were just saying earlier, like people have these big visions, you know, they talk themselves out of it or they don't work. Even if your business is gigantic and you're like, I have no idea how this is going to happen, just take one step every day. Just take one, whatever that looks like. Send that email one day. The next day, connect with somebody. The next day, go on LinkedIn. Take actions. You would be surprised how far you will go if you just take that one step every day. You take 10 steps. Just take one. Just take one. So those will be my three. You know, do the inner work, do what, have fun, right? Have fun,
Right,
and
right,
take action daily.
right. I think people just need to understand that life is a marathon.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a sprint. And I think we all have kind of destination addiction. You know what I mean? As soon as I get to, I'm going to be happy. When I do this, I'm going to be happy. If
And
I
that's why they
have
don't.
this,
That's why they're not
I'm going to be
happy.
happy. What did you say?
That's why they're not happy. Because that's not
Exactly.
how it works. That's not
Exactly.
how it works. You become happy, and then you get to that destination.
Where
And
you are. Yes.
that's why I say, you know, I'm learning so much even on my own journey, you know, because early on in my journey, when I started my business, I was doing the most. I mean, I was on the road and it was great. It was good, but I was burnt out. And I was like, I did not sign up for this. I'm not available for this. Okay. So what I started to realize is that the more I became present and I embodied the version of myself that could manifest the life that I want, the quicker it manifested for me. I didn't have to make six figures in my business to be happy. I had to become happy first, and the six figures was just a byproduct of me being happy.
Love it. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I love it. I hope y'all writing all this stuff down, y'all. Okay, so what is your overall message? Let's just say, speak to the woman who's had some setbacks in her life and she's not quite sure how to move forward to be able to truly get the life that she desires and the life that she wants. What would be your overall message to her?
I would tell her to be grateful and appreciate where you are now, but know that this is not your final destination. This is only temporary. And like I said earlier, we are all created to evolve. So there's no such thing as you're in this turmoil, you're in this challenge right now, and you're be there forever. As challenging as it may sound, there are even in your challenges and your obstacles and your most darkest moments in life, there's always something to be grateful for. Always something to be grateful for. And more importantly, there's always a lesson. And like I mentioned earlier, everything that comes to your experience is just a mirror of who you are. So those are times of reflection that we have to sit with ourselves and say, okay, why did I attract this in my life at this moment? And what is this? So if you are able to ask yourself those questions and sit with yourself and take responsibility for what's happening, regardless of how bad it may seem. I know this sounds real cliche, but when I tell you that's the work that we need to do, those are those dark places that we have to address so that we can gain that level of awareness to be able to move forward. Or else you will continue to go on this hamster wheel and recycle those limiting beliefs, whether they from you or your ancestors or anybody else, however you adapt those beliefs and those obstacles and those trials in your life, you attracted it from somewhere. It didn't fall into your experience. So those are moments that we are able to become more aware of who we are, right?
Yes. Okay.
So
So
hopefully that made sense.
no, I get it. I think the overall message too is that you have to do the inner work.
Yes.
Period.
Period.
There's no way around it. You can't escape it. You can point the finger all you want, but like you said, when you hold up that mirror, and you see what's reflecting back at you, it's on you. And what I love again is what you said, it's not the enemy, it is the inner me, because there is nothing on the outside that's preventing you from having exactly what you want to have in this life. Ah, love it. So
Absolutely.
hold on for 1 second, because I just want to go to the audience and just see if there's any questions, and I'll read some of the comments in here.
Okay.
People are just like, hey queen, hey lady. Oh my gosh. Just a lot of waves and a lot of love, and people saying, yes, I agree, and they love that. Oh, and somebody said, I love this because I've heard this before. Yuppie Brand said, do it scared.
That
And
part.
I love that. Do it scared.
The
Do it while
unknown,
you're scared.
the
Would you
unknown
say?
is one of the most magical places you could ever be. I promise you. Everything that I've ever done on my journey, even including this TV show, I had no idea how this was gonna happen. When I signed a contract for this TV show, and I lie to you not, y'all know I'm very transparent. Those of y'all that know me, and if you don't know me, then you gonna get to know me after the night. But I did not have a name for the show. I didn't have guests for the, like, I had nothing together. And this is why I'm such a strong advocate of just being the embodiment of the version of yourself that you want to attract. Because I was in position, right? Because I was in alignment, everything fell into place. I had nothing together. And I wasn't worried about it, because one of my favorite affirmations is everything's always working out for me. I don't care what's happening in my life. I'm telling myself all day, every day, everything's always working out for me. I am not available for that, because everything's always working out for me, right?
Yes. Yes. No, I love it. I want to piggyback on something you said about, so I remember years ago, I worked corporate America, and I worked as an executive assistant. And I remember, because I love to dress, right? So I
Yes,
show up every day looking like I just stepped out of Essence
yes, you
magazine,
do.
okay? Right? And I would always tell people, don't dress for the job that you want. Dress for the job that you have. Dress for the career
Mm.
that you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
Not the job that you have, but the career that you want. And that's just how I show up in life. You know what I mean? Every day, all day, unapologetic, just like you. You know what I mean? And it is what it is, you know? So I don't make no apologies for it. So, okay.
And you
So,
should.
yeah, no, not at all. Not at all, you know? Okay, so last two questions that I always like to ask my guests. What is the best advice given to you, either personally or professionally?
Mm. Um, so I had a mentor when I first started my business back in 2013, and he told me, at this time, you have to remember, I didn't grow up learning anything about entrepreneurship. I knew nothing about entrepreneurship. I didn't even know I had a big purpose out here. I just knew it was more. But he told me, Shavana, you are successful. Walk in it. And I was like, okay, like, I'm working, at Wells Fargo, got a great job, and all right, see something in me that I don't see, then thank you. So he said, you are successful, walk in it. And what I did was, I came home, I got my little sticky notes, and I put everywhere, upstairs in my bathroom, downstairs in the bathroom, in my car. I mean, and when I say I'm surrounded by my vision daily, people, my brother used to come to my house and think I was crazy, because I had money, like, $250,000. I'm gonna make this amount of money, like, all over my house. Like, I immersed myself in development,
I
right?
love
So
that.
I would just say that was one of them. That was one of the best pieces of advice I got.
That's beautiful. Okay, so hold on. So we do have a question for you. Hold on, Shavana. Give me this. She says, hi, I'm 9. How do I know what I'm going to do when I'm older?
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. So this is a very interesting question, and I'll tell you why. Because ironically enough, when I'm working with clients and we're really tapping into their vision and their gift, we go back to childhood. What is it that you feel like to do when you're a child? So what I would say to that, my response to that would be, whatever feels good for you, whatever it is that you love to do right now, do more of that. Keep doing more of that, because we all are led down a journey. Just like for me, I think I cooked my first meal when I was 9 years old, and I knew I was going to love to cook. I had no idea that I was going to grow up and have a live cooking show, right? I had no idea that I was going to have a whole global movement as a cooking show or a cooking company all together. But again, that stemmed from when I was a child, because that was something that I used to love to do. And it just carried with me throughout my journey. Even though I lost my way, I had my little issues or whatever growing up, I still went back to that. I went back to the root of what made me feel good. So I would say, again, whatever it is that you love to do right now, because all of us got something. And I think when you're a child
Absolutely.
is when you are more with
Yep.
with your higher self. It's almost like you have a direct correlation when you're younger before society hits and gets to you, right?
Absolutely.
So if you like to write, if you like to, like my kids, one of them like to draw, one of them like gymnastics, and I'm like, hold on to that, right? Because even when you drift away from it, you'll be back.
It'll pull you back.
It'll pull you
So do more of what you like to do right now. And that actually came from my niece.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
This is so sweet. Okay, so my last question is, let's see. What's your favorite quote or your mantra? What is it that you live by?
Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. When I have challenging moments and it's like all hell breaks loose in my life, I will like, I'm not available for that. Everything is always working out for me. And I just tell myself that it has become literally a part of what I say every day. Even when things are going good, I'll be in a car taking the kids to the doctor or to school. I'm just happy. Everything's always working out for me. It feels so good that everything's working out for me.
Yes, you have to speak life into
Yeah, you better.
everything that you do.
The world wants to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Shavana, can you please tell everyone where they can find you, your website, tell them about the show, when it's coming out, where they can look at it, give us all the goods.
Yeah, so I am all over social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn primarily. I have everything, but I'm everywhere as Shavana Speaks. And my show will be airing this spring, so the date will be announced very, 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 very soon. So stay tuned for that. Just follow me and keep intact, and you will know. Trust me, because I tell it all. I don't hold nothing back. So yeah, that's where you can find me. My website is just ShavannahMoore.com, and I'm all over social media.
Okay. Well, all right, guys. This has been another episode of Wind Down Wednesday with my beautiful lady of the week, Miss Shavana. Did I say that right? Because you said it's like
Yes.
Savannah, but Shavana Moore. So I'll make sure I get that right. And so let's make sure we toast it out. We don't want to waste this wine, honey. Let's cling, 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 cling. Thank you so much. Take your sip and take your sip in the audience, everyone.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much,
guys.
This was amazing.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad we were able to pull this off because I know you are so busy and I can't wait to sit and watch you on TV and do your thing, girl. So all the luck to you, the best of luck to you. And I know it's just going to be an amazing adventure for you. So, all right, guys, that's it. Like I said, Wind Down Wednesday with my Lady of the Week. I'll see you guys back here in 2 weeks with my Lady of the Week, publicist Phyllis Cadell. You don't want to miss that show. All right, you guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.